Hello, my friends. I'm hoping that I'm up and running again. We had unfortunately, to interrupt the Mishnah discussion today and bang in the middle. And I would like to continue now the discussion of the Mishnah. Before I do begin, I'd just like to establish that those of you who are in the online chat room are actually able to see me and hear me. So I'm going to wait until I do get a response. Let me see if any of you in the chat room can see and hear me. So just as soon as I get a response, then I will continue with our study of the Mishnah. So I'm understanding from Jake and from Adonit that you can now. Are you actually able to see me live and to see the Mishnah text on our screen? Because I just tried on through the Azamra Live class live stream broadcast, and I'm getting the previous program. So as far as I can see, I see what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, my dear friends. I do see that you do have what I was hoping to be discussing on the screen. Good. So let me go now, with God's help, with our Mishnah. So we begin now with the first Mishnah of the second chapter of Tractate Maccot. Elu hein hagoylin. These are those that go into exile, namely the killer that will go to the city of refuge. Hahoireg nefesh bishgogo. It's one that kills a soul, namely a fellow Israelite, bishigogo, unwittingly, in a case of unintentionality. And now we are going to have a variety of examples of different things that might have happened to watch whether there was a degree of negligence that renders the person culpable of to some degree, or whether the act was completely unintentional. And through these coming examples, we shall see the requirements that have to be met for an act to be considered such to allow the killer to go to the city of refuge. Hoyo ma'agil b'ma'agelo. If the person was doing an operation, this is on his roof, and he's using an instrument called a ma'agelo. It's really a big stone or round object. That's the root of the word agol, is a circular. And what he's doing, he's out on his roof, and he's using this heavy stone to smooth over the plaster or the pitch or whatever else it is he's spreading over his roof, and the stone rolls off. V'noflo olov, it fell down onto him. V'harogatu, it killed him. So this is one case where the person would go into exile because the thing fell down from above. This was something that was considered to be not avoidable, even with reasonable precautions. If something unexpectedly rolls over and falls down. Hoyo mishalshel bechovis. If a person is letting down a bucket. The shalshel means to the root is of that of shalshelet is a chain. Something is being lowered down. He's lowering down the chavit, the barrel. V'noflo olov, it fell upon the person. V'harogatu, it killed him. Hoyo yored basulam, the person is coming down a ladder or a stairs. V'nofal olov v'harogo, he fell upon him and killed him. Harei ze goyle, this person who caused the above three episodes goes into exile. Why? Because in each case something was falling downwards, and that satisfies the conditions required for going into exile. Avol im hoyo moishech b'ma'agelo v'noflo olo v'harogatu. But if it was the opposite direction, the person up there was pulling up the heavy ma'agelo stone instrument, and it fell upon a person and killed him. Hoyo doile v'chovis. If he was pulling up the barrel from the well or up to the upper floor of the building, v'nifsaka chevel, and the rope holding the bucket got snapped, v'noflo olov, the heavy bucket falls on the person, v'harogatu, it killed him. Hoyo oile basulam, if the person was going up on the ladder and fell upon the person down below and killed him, nofal olav harogoi, fell on him and killed him, harizeh einoi goyle. In this case, the person does not go into exile. Let us just proceed with the Mishnah a little before understanding what our Mishnah is telling us. Zeh haklol, here is the rule, kol shebederech yiridosoi. If it happens in the way of going down, falling down, the bucket being lowered down and kills the person, goyle, the individual that caused the falling object, will go into exile. That is considered to be something that he could not reasonably have been expected to prevent. Accident. V'shaloi v'derech yiridosoi. If it was not in the way of going down, because the person was actually pulling the bucket up, he was trying to roll the ma'agila instrument upwards, he was going up the ladder, einoi goyle, he does not go into exile. That does not mean he will face execution. We shall take a look now at the overall rules of this. And here I'm using the Mishnah commentary of Rabbi Pinchas Kehati, a very beautiful Hebrew commentary, much of it now available, if not all of it, in translation in English. And in his introduction to our first Mishnah, he tells us that it is a basic law of the Torah, as we have seen in Book of Numbers, chapter 35, verses 11 through 15, that if a person killed someone unwittingly, he would go to exile to one of the cities of refuge. And our chapter is coming to give the details of who are considered the unwitting perpetrators of the killing that would go into exile. So there are actually 3 divisions of an unwitting killing. There is what is called shogeg gamur, complete shogeg, completely unwitting. That is to say that in the whole act of the killer there was no negligence, but he ought to have taken better precautions. For example, if he had a stone in his in a pocket in his garment and he knew about it but he forgot about it, and the stone fell down and killed somebody, could be even a child, that is also considered to be killing, and in that case he is liable to exile. This is called a complete case of shgaga, of unwitting, where the negligence was that he did not take precautions that he should have done to be aware of the stone. He did not intend to kill, but because of that negligence, he's going to have to suffer the having to uproot from his home and go to the city of refuge. There is a second case of shgaga, of unwitting killing, that is nearly a case where the act was done under compulsion. The person had absolutely no control whatever. Where, for example, if somebody caused the death of another person through circumstances that are completely unusual, that he could not have imagined that he would have to take precautions against this. For example, if he was involved in a demolition of a building or somewhere else where he throws a stone in a place where people do not regularly pass by, and somebody happened to go there against the caution, and if this stone strikes the person is killed. That is considered to be not the responsibility of the person that caused the stone to fall down. And in that case, he would be exempt from even the penalty of going into exile, because he was not expecting anybody to be there. This was a place where nobody should have been, and it was not his responsibility if somebody strayed in. And so that is a case where he could have done nothing to prevent this occurrence. This is in Hebrew called ones, where the person was under force. A superior force caused it to happen without their intention. Now, the law provides that if the person has not gone into exile, but if the avenger of the blood were to kill him, that would be a crime of the avenger of the blood. It's not allowed to take vengeance against the killer in this case, because he is not held responsible. And if the avenger killed him, the avenger himself will be liable to execution for murder. The third case is shgaga, unwitting killing that is close to intentional killing, where the person was negligent in some active way that was likely to lead to somebody to get killed. For example, if a person was going in the dark with a dagger stretched out in his arm, and he strikes somebody else passing by and kills that person, that is not called a complete case of unwitting killing, because he should not have been walking around with an exposed weapon in that way in the dark where he couldn't see what was going on. Now, this sin also cannot be expiated by going into exile. And the city of refuge would not give such a killer refuge. And if the avenger killed him, the avenger himself will be exempt of the charge of murder, because he was acting not against the law of the Torah. So let us continue now with the first Mishnah of second chapter of Maccot. Nishmat abarzel mikato v'horag. If the iron got loose from the handle, if the iron axe got loose from the wooden handle and fell while the person is chopping wood in the forest, Rabbi Omer, Rabbi, that is Rabbi Judah, the prince, Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, the author of the Mishnah, who is throughout the Mishnah called Rabbi tells us, Einoi Goyle, the killer, the person that was handling the axe when the axe fell out of its holder, this would not be a case of exile. V'chachomim oimrim goyle. The sages, the other rabbis, say that would be a case where he would go into exile if the axe fell out from its handle during the chopping. Min ho'etz hamispakeya. If the axe fell out of the wood, the tree that was being chopped, and then that was when the axe killed somebody, it sprang forth out of the hand of the person wielding it. It was the axe was going into the wood, and the metal came out from the wood being chopped and killed. Rabbi says in that case, goyle, he is going to go into exile. The other rabbis say he would not go into exile. To understand this machloket, this division of opinion between Rabbi Judah the prince and the other rabbis, we have to go to Deuteronomy, to the portion that also speaks about unwitting killing. And there the Torah in Deuteronomy in chapter 19 tells us that at verses 4 and 5, here is the matter of the killer that shall go to the city of refuge and live. He that strikes his fellow without intention, when he did not hate him a day or 2 days or earlier before. And the key verse here now in Deuteronomy chapter 19 verse 5, if somebody comes with his fellow into the forest, lachtov eitzim, to chop trees, v'nitcho yodoi v'garzen, there slips his hand slips away, bagarzen, in the axe, licherois ho'etz, to cut the wood. The person's hand has been accidentally pushed aside while it's with the axe that he's cutting the wood with. V'noshal abarzel min ho'etz. The barzel, the iron, nashal, it fell down from the wood. Umatzo es re'ehu omeis. It found the person's fellow, and that fellow died. Hu yonus el achas he'orim o eile v'chai. He shall flee to one of these cities of refuge and live. So here it's on this verse that is based the division of opinion between Rabbi Judah, the prince, Rabbi Yehuda, and the other sages. Because the verse says that the person wielding the axe, his hand slipped lichreis ha'etz, to cut the wood, cut the tree. V'noshel habarzel min ha'etz, and the iron fell from the wood. Well, the word wood, in Hebrew, the word wood and the word tree is one and the same word, etz. So the division of opinion between Rabbi and the other rabbis is, does the word etz here, the iron fell out from the wood, refer to the wood of the actual axe holder, or is it the wood that is being chopped? And to go back now to the words of our Mishnah, we see that Nishmat habarzel mikatoi v'horag. If the iron has gone out from the holder and killed, Rabbi Omer Eino Goyle, says Rabbi, he would not go into exile, because Rabbi teaches us that the word etz in the verse refers to the wood that is being chopped. Only if the iron of the axe fell out from the wood being chopped, in those circumstances would he go into exile. But if the iron fell out from the holder, from the handle, he would not go into exile. The other sages say, no, in that case where the metal fell out of the wood being chopped, he would go into exile. I'm sorry, I translated that wrong. In this case, where the axe, where the metal fell out from its holder, from the handle, in that case, he would go into exile. The second machloket between Rebbe and the sages, if the iron fell out from the wood being chopped, Rabbi Omer Goyle, Rabbi says that's when he goes into exile. The sages say he would not go into exile. It's the same thing just said over twice. What happens if the iron fell out from the holder, the handle, and what happens if it falls out from the wood that is being chopped? Rabbi's opinion is that it's only when the metal falls out from the wood being chopped and kills somebody that the person wielding the axe goes into exile. But the rabbis say no, that in that case the person is not the direct cause of the action, because the person wielded the axe and the axe went into the wood. But then when the wood expelled the axe, that it fell on the person, that is called koyach koichoi. That is the strength of his strength. It's the second generation strength, and he is not responsible at all for what he did there. That is a complete accident, and he will not even go into exile. So with that, we conclude today's Mishnah study. And with that, my dear friends, I'm going to continue, I'm going to conclude this part of today's study. I do regret the technical issues that have necessitated me to somewhat curtail our study time today, but I do hope to be back here, God willing, in about 25 minutes with my weekly Shavuot Tov. So I look forward to seeing you with me then, if you're able to join me. Shalom for the moment.
Hashem